We are live. Welcome to the new nation of motivation. My name is Bart Berkey. I'm the founder of a company called Most People Don't, and I am joined by two very special, unique friends. Together, myself, Darian, and Kervin, we make up.
He's still here. He's still here. He has the best connection. We make up the nation of motivation. Did he freeze on your side?
Yeah, I thought that was me for
So, with that being said, guys, while we have Bart Berkey, the most people don't, he's having internet issues. We are going to continue with these nation of motivation discussion. He is the lead, but we are going to do it with our best intent to lead and take charge of this empowering moment, an hour of power for you. So, the story is why people don't do, and from intent to action. So, most people don't do things with intent. They just do it based off action. So, Darian, whenever you do something, do you do it based off your intent or your action?
I think it's a mix of both. First, you have
Okay,
intent, and then you
it's a
take
trick
action.
question. You love how I did that, right? It's a trick question because some people don't put intent behind their action. With that being said, Bart, are you back? Are you back? I see you. I see you in the. We see you. We see your face.
We see each other.
Yeah, and can you at least hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me I'm going to make sure that we focus on both of you from an image perspective,
Mm.
and certainly I can share some thoughts as we get started here. Let me move some people around. Right, intent to action. Again, apologies for the technical delays. But the reason why we wanted to have this conversation today, it's Most People Don't is the name of my company, and I met Kervin and Darian, gosh, probably a year and a half or so ago.
Yeah.
We all were using some collective workspace, all happened to be entrepreneurs, and then we just kind of started talking. What do you do? How do you do it? And just remained friends. And then just a couple of weeks ago, we ran into each other again, not by chance. And it was a discussion of, well, what could we do together? How can we begin to share some nice ideas with people that really, really need it? Kervin is absolutely going nuts and blowing up on TikTok. He has Discord channels.
I have a whole community of over almost 1,000 people who are working on progressing. We're doing guided meditations. We hold town halls. We have safe spaces for people to sit in and talk to each other. I've noticed there was a vacuum within the single mothers or the stay at home mother space that I stayed in my Discord and actually was a voice for her to speak to during the whole entire day. I stayed with her, and as she experienced all kinds of havoc throughout the day, I was there to support her emotionally, spiritually. I'm like, hey, don't worry, just because that happened, you're okay. And like it was empowering because I was there to support somebody during a time where you're by yourself. A single mother. You have your kids, and then and all heck can break loose when you're by yourself. So I was there to support her the whole entire time. And to be able to do that was empowering for me because I was like, hey, don't worry. I'm right here, right by you. I'm right here virtually just saying, hey, don't worry. Like whatever comes your way, I'm here to let you know that don't think about it. Don't think about it. Just keep moving forward. And it helped her. She said, hey, I'm so grateful for you providing this safe space for me. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm tuned in the whole way. I found
Yeah.
it interesting, and
Yes.
I think you make a good point actually with that because I have kind of I haven't been doing the Discord and TikToks as much, but I have been socially connecting more with people, and I've been finding a lot of um, you know old friends who um, maybe they don't have a lot going on, or they're at home with their kids more than they're actually doing stuff, and it's an internal battle to
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're doing something worthwhile when all you're doing is being home and being with your kids. But
So I had to help build her up because she was like, I didn't, she literally went down the self defeat route. She's like, I didn't do anything today. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you went out, you took your kids, you did this. I'm like, I listed like 7 things. And I'm like, You need to start seeing and gratifying yourself for what the things you do, because you need to start seeing what you're sowing to yourself, what you're saying to yourself. Self-talk can literally damage yourself, your psyche.
Self-talk can be self-defeat.
Exactly. Because
Yeah,
I was telling her, like, hey, no, celebrate everything that you did today, because every day is a victory. You're moving forward, you're progressing. She's like, oh, I'm so organized. I'm like, no, you're organized. Your thoughts are organized. You're moving forward. The more you speak on it, the more you go on, with action to make it happen. I was the same way for a little bit. I used to say things that I didn't want, and that's what I got in life. So I started
yeah.
saying things I did want, and that's what I got in life.
I remember.
It was a wild time.
Yeah,
Bart, are you there?
I just finished a Reiki session literally 10 minutes ago.
I bet you're feeling amazing. It's energy cleansing. It looked like I went to it when I experienced it. She told me about an injury that I didn't tell anybody. She's like, "Hey, did you injure your shoulder?" I'm like, "What? How'd you know?"
Right.
She's like, "I just know." I was like, "It was an amazing session." Like I really appreciate you putting me on. So guys and gals who don't know about Reiki, it's an energy and cleansing thing. Most people think it's pseudoscience, but I know it's true, and I know it for myself and for Darian. We know it as true. So
I like the
mhm.
I like the energy that comes afterwards. Like every time I've done it, it's easy to be skeptical of something, but I'm always willing to experience anything new. Every time I do it, I swear I have the best luck for an extended period of time afterwards. And I'm like, I haven't changed anything. The only thing recently I've done
What is
is
that?
Reiki. So it feels like it might be bringing this good luck. So
You got to start
I've
thinking
done it.
about.
I've done it 4 times. So I believe.
So what you guys start thinking about is, okay, so when you start tying energy or money, you start putting, hey, I'm going to commit this amount of money to me healing my energy within myself or myself. You start seeing the energy come back. So it's like all the money, time, and effort you put into it, this appointment is coming back to you. That's all the luck, the money. Whoa, what happened?
What's interesting? I'm here. You know what's
You
interesting about
disappeared on
that?
the screen. Hold on. Because I'm not sure who's in. Go ahead, brother.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say what's interesting that you say that is you remember all that time I used to spend investing, such as cryptocurrency was probably my biggest thing, obviously, but we invested in other things that I'm not gonna get too into, but man, it's interesting because you could put so much time and energy and again we're talking about intent, so I put a lot of intent followed by action behind my investments. I had read investment books, and I was forming discords, I had groups, I was educating people, I was posting, I was seeing a lot of growth. And after about around the end of 2021, 2022ish, crypto and a lot of the investments started tailoring off and falling. And I was telling everybody, hey man, it's already down. Don't pull it out. Just leave it and forget about it. It'll come back. And it's easy for myself to even I forgot about it. And I knew it was there, but I wasn't checking it. And I put a little more investments here and there. But now,
the blind investor is the best investor because they know what they're investing in and they emotionally just say, hey, I'm committed to something, and then you stick to it. It's an
yeah,
all in one kind of thing. It's like, okay, they say Warren Buffett is the type to invest in, his things and just stick to it. So
yeah,
why don't you
you pick
invest
a
in,
field. You pick a
yeah,
field.
you
You
feel that
specialize in it.
yeah, you stick to it and you stick to that niche. And once you stick to it, you know it better than anybody else. And then that's how you win. Some people are very indirect. They just go after multiple things. And I'm like, you can't be a jack of all trades. Stick to one thing and just say, hey, this is what I want to do. And you'll be fine.
Yeah, and for me with the crypto stuff, I'm not pushing it on people because everybody's got their own thing. But I was even talking to a good friend of mine, Janelle. who I told a while ago,
There he
don't
is.
check
Hey,
out.
he's back. Hey, you good now? Can you speak?
I don't know. You tell me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hey, we're
Great.
finally back. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get
Yeah,
the
yeah,
show
yeah.
going.
Yeah, and it's not through my fancy camera, my external microphone, so I'm probably not looking as clear and crisp. But just give me a
You
thumbs
look
up if you
excellent. You
can
look
hear me.
excellent. You look
Okay.
excellent. You look
All right.
excellent. Let's go.
Well,
Let's go.
and thanks for carrying on with the conversation. So I wanted to share kind of a reason for today's call, if I may, Kervin and Darian. I know you were talking about some other things, which I was listening and learning, so thank you.
No problem.
But we wanted to talk a little bit about why don't people do certain things. And let me give you a few examples. Darian was able to come to the convention center with me last weekend, and we were able to talk to a lot of folks, right? Thank you. And before I got on stage, and Kervin, I can't wait for you to be able to experience this with us next time. But we were able to watch people, and I shared this study that there was a study that was done in Europe, and they watched 27,000 people make a choice between stairs versus escalator. And only 1% of people chose to go up the stairs. And they thought, why, right? Why are people not? So they interviewed them. So the people that were going up the stairs, they said, why? And the answer was they either had a health scare or someone in their immediate family had a health scare. Makes sense. And they knew it was better for them. They want to get their steps in and get their heart rate up and move their body, get blood flowing. The 99% of people that chose to ride up the escalator, the reason when asked, why did you do that? They said, I'm lazy, or it was easier. So here we are. I'm very familiar with this study, and I continue to talk to groups about it, right? Do what most people don't do. And the final part of this study was they changed the staircase to a set of piano keys. So every time you took a step on a stair, it emitted a different sound, a different note from a fake piano. And 66% of people then chose to walk up the piano staircase. So
That's
think about
beautiful.
it.
That's beautiful.
Regular staircase, Kervin and Darian, 1%. Piano staircase, 66%. So there, Darian and I are at the convention center. We're mingling among the expo, the suppliers, an incredible group of people. And then we're at the top of where the stairs and the escalators were, and we watched. And sure enough, Darian, what were the numbers like?
I would say it was at least like 10-1. At least every like 10 people that went up the escalator, you get like one person go up the stairs. We got I think I recall like maybe seeing like 5 people go up the stairs. Honestly,
yeah, that's about
Mark
it.
included.
You had been laughing. In fact, Darian is just like, I'm a younger guy. You need help carrying up your bag. And I was like, no, I'm doing this for a reason. But thank you, my friend.
I kept offering. I didn't know there was
So we're at the top of the stairs, and I have my pocket full of gratitude stones. And Darian and I are clapping for the people, right? Clapping for the people that are coming up the middle, walking the stairs.
You guys are geniuses.
High-fiving people. Darian has a great little video clip, and if I was organized enough, I probably could show it, but I don't think I could show it on this. But for those that are following us, they'll be able to see the clip. And we then started talking to people, and we said, why? Only 1% typically. Why are you hustling and walking up the stairs? And Darian, do you remember any of the responses by chance?
I honestly remember more the responses of the people we talked the most to.
Yeah.
Such as the African American gentleman who
Steven.
he went back down and then went back up the stairs. He felt a little guilty that he didn't take the stairs, but he knew almost everyone that took the stairs, which was really interesting.
So you guys, you literally how you switched the science on those people, like you started clapping for the people going up the stairs. So guess what? People started saying, hey, oh, I should be happy I'm going up these stairs.
It was I'm a stair taker too.
Yeah.
Yes. And then to have that one gentleman, Steven, who was just so gregarious and friendly, he's like, I'm going to go back down. I'm going to ride, which was funny. He rode the escalator down to walk those stairs back up. But regardless,
Where is this? I need to see this. We need to put this on the YouTube for the social experiment for the Nation of Motivation.
I could put a link underneath this video after we after it's posted.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, but it was a good experiment. Yeah, an experiment, right? That we kind of ran very informally, and to see that happen. But then it just kind of brings up the question: why do most people don't do? Why do they not? I was presenting at a hospitality company a couple weeks prior, and I think I shared with you, I will crinkle up a fake, right, $100 bill or fake $10 bill, and I will toss it down and I will see what will people do. Will people pick it up? And if they pick it up, will they turn it in? And undoubtedly, usually, right, one person will pick it up and turn it in, and one person will pick it up and put it in their pocket until they hear that it's a fake prop money. Then they'll throw it down on the floor. Same thing goes with there were 5 pieces of trash before I got up on stage, 3 pieces of trash that I walked over. That was the trail from our meeting room to the restroom. Thousands of people there. And I picked up 5 pieces of trash and I threw them away. And I watched. There were people that were literally hopping over a Twix wrapper, hopping over a wristband, hopping over something. And it wasn't like a dirty banana peel. It was a candy wrapper. It was a wristband. And it was one other thing that was like, I wouldn't be picking up a Slurpee, right? It was just simple things, but most people were not. So it just bears the question, why don't people do? And I'm curious, Darian, saw that finger up. What are your thoughts? And there's no right or wrong answer, but the more that we can help to solve it, the more that we can encourage people to go from intent, I know this is what I should do, to I'm actually making this happen.
Yeah, I think one of the main things it stems from is actually the first topic we spoke about, which is mindfulness and presence. I guarantee you most of the people on that escalator aren't actively engaged with their surroundings in the present moment. They're on the escalator, it's easier, and then they're thinking about, okay, I got to do this, or they're thinking about different things and that aren't at that present moment beneficial to them. So they're missing opportunities that are actively around them. Same thing with picking up the trash. If it's a habit, you might pick it up subconsciously and not think about it. But I don't think most people are actively looking around, being in the present moment and seeing, here's an opportunity for me to grow my character at this present moment with this. So it's the same. There's another experiment. It's called the shopping cart experiment, where basically it's like a indirect judge of character, as you will. Do people put their shopping cart back? Do they put it in do they leave it in the parking lot and not put it in a designated area? Do they put it in the closest designated area, or will they go out of their way to bring it all the way to the front to make the jobs and lives of the people who are going to have to bring that cart back easier? And I'll let
and Darian, do you remember what prompted people? I'm sure because they were maybe interviewed or talked to afterwards. Why did some people put it in? Why did some people return the cart? Because
some people, like the people that really went out of their way and pushed it all the way back, they typically had many difficult times or recent difficult times, and they didn't want to be somebody that's making somebody else's lives more difficult at that moment. And so they went out of their way to make sure that whoever would have to bring back the carts, that it would be much easier for them. They don't have to come get a bunch of carts. They'll make it at least one less cart easier. And on the flip side, some of the people who it was hard to interview the people who didn't, like, just left their cart in the parking lot. It's almost like they were like arrogantly ashamed, like they knew they're not doing the right thing, and so they don't really want to be approached about it, and they get very they would get very defensive about it. So it's a mix, but I think ultimately it was boiled down to like a sense of kindness.
Mm-hmm. I wanted, if I do it, it will make it easier for the next person, and not only for the next customer, but for the employee that has to go up and wrangle 100 carts and push them back into the store. So two reasons, right? Trying to help others and being aware of how it could help others. Kervin, I'm curious, Darren, thank you for sharing, bud. Kervin, what are your thoughts with that? Why do some people do, and how can we be reminded for all of us to do?
It's a hard thing to really say, to point out, because naturally for myself, I would be the one who picks up trash. Like, I often go on walks around my neighborhood and I pick up trash a lot because I'm like, if I'm the person who's going to be living here, I would want my area and place that I live, my environment, to be trash free. So me thinking, okay, if I pick up this trash, it's no longer going to be a part of this environment. And if I continue doing it, the kids see it, the adults see it, and everybody's like, oh, you know what? Let me stop trolling trash on the floor and put it in the right place. It's crazy that we have to be the examples for people to see good things that are actually good for us. I've never, I like, my mind was, I guess I'm wired correctly, because whenever I see trash, I pick it up.
Yeah, but some people, Kervin, don't even see the trash. They don't. Some people don't see the cart. Some people don't observe what needs to be done or who they can help. And I guess that's okay. But how can we encourage? So here, the first stair versus escalator story.
That's awareness. That's awareness. It's a level of awareness. It's like, hey, my perception. Okay. If I take these stairs, I'm going to get, I'm getting my workout for the day. If I didn't go to the gym, I'm going to take these stairs. It's like, hey, I'm giving myself the stairs as a reward versus the escalator. And now I'm focused on me working out, going up these stairs. And now you're celebrating, you climbing these stairs, you're over conquering all these mental barriers of you thinking you couldn't defeat these stairs. It's simple. Some people get defeated by the stairs by just looking at them. And they're like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to take the escalator. Why are you defeating yourself? You can make it up the stairs.
Yeah, and I think you're beginning to my perception. You're beginning to lean into this aspect of, okay, afraid, fear. There's reasons I'm fearful of how other people will view me. What if I walk up the stairs and I have to take a break? What if I walk up the stairs and I'm huffing and puffing? What if I'm the only one taking the stairs? Right there, there's this fear component. And what is the reminder? So the 1% of people said that they had a health scare or someone in their immediate family had a health scare. That's a pretty in your face reminder, isn't it? Just imagine if you had a heart attack and a doctor said move more, and I'm faced with an opportunity to move more. Well, goodness gracious, I don't want to be in the hospital again, so I'm going to choose to move more. Walking over trash is not significant, right? It's not as significant. Pushing a cart in maybe is not as significant. So how can we continue to remind ourselves to take action? And maybe it's not for everything. Darian, you have a great idea coming. I see it.
Yeah. So I have a great idea that's in the form of a story of something that I can relate to myself. Is one, just to expand on what we're pursuing. I think it starts with awareness, as Kervin said, and then it boils down to making a conscious decision at some point within that awareness. So something that I had did, and I think I had talked to Kervin about this at this time, is in about like 2021, I was living in an apartment complex, and I noticed, since we're still talking about trash context, I noticed a lot of trash in the area, just on the ground. I'm like, we need to take some pride in this area. This is where we live. So every day in the morning, as I was shaping my morning and developing a routine, one thing I incorporated in my routine was like an hour of kindness. Basically, I would go outside and walk around, and it started off with picking up trash, but you find like if you do that for an hour, after about a week, like almost all the trash is gone. Surprisingly, I thought it would take much longer. So then what I ended up doing was just looking around and seeing if anybody needed help. If not, an hour walk is still a great time. It's considered meditative. But I had approached one man during this walk, and I remember this very vividly, who he was struggling. He had like 4 bags of trash. He was juggling. He had his kid with him. And I came up to him. I was like, "Hey, man, you want me to just take your trash for you to the garbage bin?" And he was thrown off like I was gonna like do something nefarious with his trash. And he's like, "Oh no, I mean, why do you want my trash?" And I'm like, "I don't want your trash. I'm just offering to help. I can take it. I see you're struggling." And he's like, "But why? Like, why are you offering?" Like, he just couldn't comprehend it. And I told him, I basically just confessed to him every day for about an hour. I take an hour of kindness and I just go out and I look for what good can I do for an hour. The rest of my day might be busy, but I've at least taken this hour. And he was actually very touched. He ended up putting everything down. He gave me a hug and started talking about like, this is something nobody does. Like,
Most people don't.
It's just threw him off.
Say it. Most people don't.
Yeah, most people don't. I mean, it's not something that you'll often think to do, but it honestly brought me a lot of happiness, and it made what I was doing. I wasn't looking for a reward, but it made what I was doing feel rewarding to know like I might have I didn't even mean to, but I might have touched this guy in this way, and it wasn't a big act. It was just me offering to help.
That happens to me all the time. Like, sometimes your presence alone can change somebody's, perspective, their ideas. Like me, just being me, I'm just like, hey, I have shells in my hair. Like people just like, hey, you're just brave. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're just you. I'm like, you can do the same thing. I'm just like you. And I always repeat, yeah. Most people don't. You hear? Most people don't. Most people don't give themselves a lot of, encouragement to go be nice and courteous to others. Most people don't pick up that piece of trash that they see, because when you start doing that, you start seeing that a lot of people will, because they start seeing this character of this knight. It's knightly. It's like, hey, this person is here as a hero on this earth.
It starts with a spark too. Spreads.
Mm-hmm. It spreads like a wildfire. When we start really spreading kindness amongst each other, imagine everybody did an hour of kindness. Everybody's problems would disappear easily.
I would say everybody's, but
not everybody's, but okay. It'd be simpler. It'd be simpler if we all started working together to get these problems resolved as a community.
And what a great idea. I love that. Why not 1 hour? Who can you help? And you're going to set out for 1 hour in the day, get up an hour earlier, and who can you help? That's it. We're getting some nice comments in from LinkedIn. Stephen Horowitz is joining us out of Arizona. And I know he comes from hospitality. He is now working for a movie theater company, and he is responsible for booking groups and leading a team that is booking meetings and events into I believe it's Harkins Theaters, if I'm not mistaken. So we're getting a lot of great commentary back from people. So thank you all for chiming in.
Thank you for joining us, Stephen.
Thank you for joining us. This is a wonderful occasion.
May I read something to you?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. So again, Kervin, I'm glad you're back in town, but we really would have loved for you to join us on Saturday because it was moving.
Bart, you had me crying. I mean, Bart, you had me crying at one point. I was like, I can't let him see me.
Well, I appreciate your support, and these are the things that we're going to be doing together, right? The three of us. So yesterday, and without getting into too much detail, a couple of procedures on my neck, so I'm in a lot of pain. They had to burn the nerve on Wednesday. They did the same thing today, but yesterday I wasn't feeling great, recovering from this, and I get a letter in the mail.
and it looks like it's coming from a law firm. And I was like, oops. And it's one of those things, it's not addressed to resident, it's addressed to Bart Berkey, with most people don't. And I was like, uh-oh. Like, uh-oh. And again, negative thoughts. Should not have a negative thought, Curvin, right? Darian, I should be like, this is gonna be I won the lottery.
This is I won a huge amount of money somehow.
Yeah. Or
my great uncle, my grunkle, it's a random abbreviation of a relative just gave me money.
Yes. So this is what it is, and I'll share this with you. I attended the CAI Expo this past Saturday, but had to leave before your presentation. My wife later took a look at the conference material and remarked on your profile. I confess that knowing I would depart by 1 o'clock, I had never read it. This evening after 5 o'clock, I looked up your TED Talk you gave and was mesmerized. I took notes. I'll watch it again. I'll send it to my 4 adult children. I said, I thank you for such a concise, seemingly obvious, but difficult analysis. Perhaps I'll get a chance to see you in person one day. Best regards. So this is a gentleman that Darian, we could have met, but he wasn't able to stay, but looked at the research and said, this is a powerful message. The new nation of motivation, what each of us are trying to share collectively and separately, it's important enough that he wanted to share it with his family members, and he watched it and he's telling people about it. That's the point, right? That's the little spark. It could be Curvin. It could be you on a TikTok live, Darian. It could be you posting that fun story on Instagram. It could be me up on stage. It could be all of us doing different things, but it's that little spark that is going to get people to think differently. And I guess that's what it is. Right? How can we get people to go from intent to action? By listening, by observing, by looking, by seeing who can I help today, and even play that game. And when I was presenting at Virginia Beach, I actually did that for a second. And you both are getting to know me much better, and our viewers and our listeners. But it just came to me. I said, take 2 minutes and just look around this meeting room and see who could you help. Right? Stopped middle of the presentation. Take 2 minutes and look around. Who could you help? And I have to tell you, and maybe because these were hospitality folks, but the answers that they came up with and their observations were amazing. I'll give you just a few examples. One person was, their water bottle was empty. So another person at their table noticed that, went up and got them a water bottle. One person had eaten a cookie, and it was an oily, buttery cookie, and it was the stain, essentially, right? The saturation was on the empty napkin, and that person knew that they had a chocolate chip cookie and knew that there was only one chocolate chip cookie left, so they went up and got another chocolate chip cookie for that person. Another person's pen ran out of ink. They pulled another pen out of their pocket and gave it to them, right? These are 3 things in a matter of an observation of 2 or 3 minutes. And how cool would it be? And Darian, it sounds like you are doing that on your hour walk. And Curvin, I'm sure you're doing it every single day. But how can we just look up to see, observe, and I use this term, observe, anticipate, and over-deliver. Observe and anticipate. It doesn't have to be for a customer. Doesn't even need to be for someone that you know. The better part is when it's someone that you don't know. As I was leaving today's procedure, I had to hold on to my wife because I was dizzy. And this one gentleman proceeded to run ahead of us, open up the door, right? Press the handicap open door button, and then manually held open the second door for us because he saw, right? He saw. And that meant the world to me. And my wife joked and said, we'd rather be, exiting the Ritz-Carlton right now, which is right next door to the doctor's office, but we're exiting a doctor's office and my husband is dizzy. Thank you. Right. Thank you for paying attention.
See, that's the kind of kindness that we need to instill in everyone, just to say, hey, okay, somebody's in need. Okay, I can help them. It takes 5 seconds. It's like 5 seconds. I've experienced times where I've seen people on the side of the road get flat tires, and I'm the one who literally will put my car on the side of the road and literally help them flip it, like change the tire, push the car on the side, or just do these things because I know if I was in a situation, I need somebody to help me too. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't take long to just help one person. And I've done this all throughout my life where I'll just help some random person and it doesn't take too long. But imagine if we work together to solve one person's problem for the day. Like, hey, what do you have going on? And I just commit to helping you throughout the day. It would change their whole outlook and say, hey, you know what? No longer do I feel like I'm stuck. I have somebody I can call on real quick, just like a brother or a sister, and they say, hey, I know I can do it. I'm just calling you to encourage the movement towards it more. Like I have a whole community of people that I've been teaching them, like every time they say sorry, I'm like, don't say sorry. You stop apologizing for being you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop apologizing for being you. Like I have a safe space in there. I'm like, do not apologize. Do not apologize, because you shouldn't be apologizing for being you.
Yeah, love it, love it. And just I wanted to share a couple comments as they're coming in. Nicole Cable, thank you very much. Several of these people are dear friends, so happy that we are spreading the message not only through LinkedIn, through YouTube, through Facebook, through all of our connections and channels, and probably TikTok Live and however else everyone is broadcasting it. So I just wanted to thank everyone for chiming in and listening and helping us to learn. Darian, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's very interesting that you also pointed out the flat tire example, because there was a time I had a flat tire. It was me and Tanya. We had a flat tire. And so I was young. I wasn't the best at changing flat tires, but I'm like, this is my duty. I got to get out there and do this. So I'm out there figuring it out, and there's tons of cars passing by, right? The one person that stopped was a high school teacher that everyone loved. He went out of his way. He let us know he was in a rush to something, but he saw us, and he just had to stop and help. And I didn't know him. Tanya knew him. Tanya was in the car, so he didn't even see her at first. But she let me know, like, oh, that's so and so. Like, everybody loves him. Like, of course he would stop. And I think it's also just a testament to your character. Like, in an event like that, like the typically the teachers, educators, mentors, the ones that that everybody seems to gravitate towards are the same ones who are doing what most people don't. They'll go out of their way. They'll see, this person has this, and this is going to possibly impact this thing negatively. But after a period of time, everyone knows your character. If you came like 5 minutes late and you're like, hey, sorry I'm late, I saw somebody on the side of the road, I had to help them change the tire, that probably speaks way louder than showing up those 5 minutes early, because most people aren't going to stop and help at the expense of themselves.
Exactly. It's like that moment of time where you're just like, hey, let me think about somebody else for a quick second and just get out of. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I think people who are engaged in those type of actions, like, because if you just look at this teacher, there's a reason that everyone loves him. There's a reason he's so effective at his job at teaching. It's all about like putting people first, and when you have that mindset, like, that's what makes the best mentors, the people everybody wants to learn from and look towards. It's not about you. It's about what do I have to offer that I can provide to others.
Exactly.
It doesn't need to be always the teachers. It doesn't always need to be the first responders. It doesn't always need to be the nurses or the doctors. It can be each and every single one of us, right? Think about it, right? You are making the assumption, we are making the assumption that teachers should be helpful because they're so giving. We're making the assumption that nurses and doctors are giving. Well, they need to hear good things in return, right? They need to hear good things in return. And I give you another example, and so many of this is relating to this neck procedure, but just, I had the procedure Wednesday and then this morning. And when we were leaving, I thanked the woman. Her name was Maya at the front desk. I just thanked her for being nice and being in a good mood. And she, in response, said, well, thank you for being so nice and being such a great patient. I wasn't expecting that. These people don't have easy jobs. They're seeing people come in pain and leave in tears. And, you know, it's not an easy job. And they are providing relief for people. I wanted them to know how grateful I am for providing relief for people. And then there she is thanking me for being a pleasant patient. Are you kidding? Right? Thank you. You don't need to say that. Most people don't, right?
Exactly.
Look at the impact of what is happening already. Right. I needed to hear this message today. I needed to hear this message today.
There we go, receiving more positive
response. You know, the energy is infectious, and I've been seeing that throughout my time on TikTok. Like, people would come by just to say, "Hey, you brighten my day." Like, I had a guy who was a voice actor, and he's like, "Hey, every time I see your videos, it makes me smile." I'm like, "Well, every time I see you, you make me smile." He said, "Dude, you changed my way of thinking." And I'm like, "Well, we are the same, aren't we?" I'm like, "I look at you as the same as me. I don't see you no higher, no lower. We're both superstars in this game." And every time I call him, me and him just have the biggest smile on each other's face. We don't even say any words. We just smile. And he's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing amazing. How about you?" He's like, "It's same." It's the energy you can do. Like, these kind of relationships should be conducive. Like, you should always have relationships like that around you to impact you, to encourage you. Because if the people around you aren't doing the things you don't, are doing things you don't do, you need to get around people who do.
Yes. Well said. You're absolutely right. And Curvin, so it's over 1,000 people now in your Discord channel. That
it's growing every day.
Phenomenal.
Every day.
What I like about it also, and you need to teach me a little bit more about how to manage, right, the communications in there. But it usually starts with, what is the greeting that you offer? Good morning.
Grand rising. I say grand rising to you. So instead of morning has a double meaning. So you have morning with death, and then morning. So it's like, good morning. It's like the two double meanings. I said, let me get rid of that entirely. So we say grand rising, because every day is a rising. You're like, I rose today. Doesn't that sound empowering? So I literally was like, hey, whenever we come in here, please just stick to the same script, because I want to keep the same energy. Everybody's like coming in saying grand rising with the message of the day. Everybody has their own little message of the day saying, hey, I love you. And everybody around here is speaking love to each other. It's encouraging. So the more we foster this kind of energy, the more we see it come out within the world.
It makes me feel like I'm royalty, right? Grand rising. And it's like, sometimes grand rising, go beautiful ones, or something just poetic, but it makes me feel like royalty. And that is just one
God.
Yeah, just one simple statement, and talking about the aspects of how words matter. When I was on the Ritz-Carlton side of things, we would often have golf tournaments, golf events, bless you. And I was not a good golfer by any stretch of the imagination. And yet many of our customers and some of our suppliers, they were very good. And so I will never forget, we were finished for the day, and someone came up to me and said, how did you do? And I said, you know what? I could not have played any better. Right?
I love that.
I could not. How are you today? I could not be any better. How did you play golf today? How did you swing the clubs? I could not have played any better. I could not have had more fun. Right? So just even think about that. How are you today? I'm good. How are you today? I'm fine. I even wrote a story in my newsletter, and hopefully you both gentlemen had seen it, and many of our followers have as well. But another person, right? Every time we present, we learn things. So Darian, the one story that I had, the title was, when I said, how are you? This was an attendee before going up on stage. I said, how are things going? And she said, they're going. And I could tell she was smiling, but she started getting teary-eyed just by that simple question. How are things? That was at the event.
Was that Faith that you were talking to?
No, it was a different person. I leave their name out of it because it's not. No. Faith is lovely, right? And Faith is all powerful. No, this was a different person that I had met right upon registration. Just a great woman. But here's the thing: how are things going? They're going, and I saw again these tears well up in her eyes, and I said, "You need to come to our session." Because this message is going to feel like it was delivered exactly for you. And Darian heard it right. It was about you're doing your best and you're doing great. You're doing your best, right? Don't take things personally. You're doing great. So it's all about the words. As we have a few minutes left, and again, could talk to you gentlemen and our listeners and followers for days. Can we talk about if there's ever been a situation, Darian, I'm going to ask you first after you're done swatting flies, because we're us, right? We are us. Has there ever been a situation where you overcame fear to make something happen, to actually take action? And Kervin, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Whoever is ready to answer first.
I'll go first. I've quit my job 2 times to return to self-employment and being a business owner. My first time, doing this and committing to this thing was me saying, I'm going to do this. And I was scared and I fell back. The second time I said, no longer will I retract on my statement and saying I need somebody to employ me. I'm going to be my own employer. And as soon as I did that, I let go of fear and said, hey, I'm going to do this ambitiously and I'm going to love every moment. And look at me now. I'm behind the camera and we're talking about it happening as we speak.
Let go of fear, right? You let go of fear. Incredible. Darian, I'm going to ask you the same question, my friend.
I mean, the first one that obviously comes to mind is when I quit the military, because there's a lot of the military culture almost doesn't want you to leave, and that there's nothing on the outside. Like when you're leaving, you're walking to an abyss, you're going to be right back. And when you come back, you're not going to, you're going to have missed all this time and you're just wasting your time. So that was a decision I wanted to make, but it felt like a leap of faith. And all I had, the best thing I figured I could do is just, every day do my best to create an opportunity or increase my knowledge or increase my worth. And if it doesn't work, I'll still be happy with the results. And so I just decided, I'm taking the leap of faith. Like, I think it's worth taking this leap. And I mean, it's been the best decision I've made.
I like that that leap of faith, embrace fear and do your best. I love that. So I put take a leap of faith and trust the process. So it's like some people with fear, I love that, and embracing it and saying, you know what, it's irrelevant and it doesn't stop us, because the moment you allow something, the unknown, I tell people in my audience to embrace the unknown because you haven't done it yet. Mm-hmm. So in order for you to do it, you have to embrace the unknown possibilities of you doing it. So now you're like, oh, wait, it's not impossible. I can do it. Now we break the barriers of thinking everything's impossible and you keep doing it. I have a list of words that I keep within my community. It's the I cans, I ams, it's a whole list of positive charged words for you to bring things into your life. And I have a clear decision on the other side that says, don't say these because these are not going to help you. These are words you need to eliminate from your thought process, because if you do not build a proper thought process towards you doing something positive in your life, you're never going to follow that thought. It's like, hey, I can be rich. Okay, how do I make that richness happen? How do I get this wealth? It's like, oh, let's start a business. Oh, the business is successful. I started selling things. It starts you following the thought. Follow the thought of you doing it, and you'll see the intent and the action reaction. It's like, it's simple.
And Bart, I wanted to ask Bart the same question because I'm really curious to hear his response. He has a wealth of knowledge that I'm sure.
Yeah. So when a time where I faced fear to do what most people don't. Correct.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And so there's probably a longer story to this, but essentially, when I was younger, I had an out of body experience during routine nose surgery. And as a result of hearing the doctors and the nurses say, he's out, let's get started, I didn't know if it lasted 10 minutes or 10 seconds, but just hearing that and not being able to move and hearing the doctors and nurses, that freaked me out for a lifetime, to the point where I was afraid of going to sleep. I was afraid of losing control. Bless you. I was afraid of dying, all of these things. And so, years later, fast forward 40 years, I'm presenting in a group in Arizona, and I'm up on stage and I'm telling people, most people don't do certain things. Most people don't face their fears. And as soon as I said that, it hit me. I said, I'm afraid of getting surgery again. I'm afraid of getting surgery. I went 40 years with a deviated septum, not being able to breathe properly. So I went back home from that trip. I talked to my wife and I said, look, I'd like to get it done, right? I'm 50 whatever years old. I can handle it, right? I have your support. I'll trust the process. I'll have faith. Let me get it done because I'd like to be able to breathe again. And when I faced that fear, no surgery went well, 3 hours, come bring the car around, told my wife, that's when I had my heart attack. And it was not a good heart attack, not like there's ever a good heart attack, but it was pretty darn severe. They rushed me to the hospital and essentially saved my life. So the benefits of facing my fear in that example, I was in the right place at the right time. Imagine, and I share this, imagine if I was walking the dogs alone in the woods. What if I was on an airplane? What if I was in a hotel alone at a conference? But no, I was facing my fears at a surgical center right next door to a hospital. I was in the right place at the right time. And so facing my fears essentially saved my life. So that's certainly a deep meaning. And that's how I've interpreted, right, my purpose of sharing. Most people don't, and sharing stories like that there are benefits. Yeah, there's benefits when you pick up the trash. There's benefits when you help other people, when you open a door for people. But there's also benefits when you go out on a limb and you start your own business. There are benefits when you leave the military and start your own business with one of your best friends, right? There are benefits of taking action. There's benefits of putting notes here on LinkedIn. There's benefits for joining us for 52 minutes because we just gave a shout out to a few folks. Sorry, I'm not able to see all the comments, but a few of the comments, we just gave a shout out to them. And so someone can go back and see who was on today's New Nation of Motivation call, who can I connect with, and who can I connect with for personal growth or even professional growth. Maybe Steve Horowitz is hiring folks at his Harkins movie theaters, and there's some meeting and event planner that just moved to Arizona that would love to be able to book his movie theaters.
Opportunities knocking out the door. Look. Hello, opportunities right there. It's up to you to take it. We are opening the floodgates for opportunity to come into your life. It's up to you to take it because we are all presently here to tell you, let go of fear and let the opportunities come into your life. It comes from you saying yes to you moving forward and being the person who's motivated to live life to the fullest, putting intent behind your action and seeing what happens with the reaction. It's like when I started my business, I didn't realize the reaction that would cause. Look at us. All three of us are all here because of what I started with my friend.
It's incredible. And I want to put this up on the banner here. Intention to action to reaction. Boy, that's just absolutely brilliant. If individuals, and I will begin to wrap it up here. If individuals would like to learn more about our messaging and together as well as separate. So for me, you can look at mostpeopledon't.com, plethora of information. I did have Kervin and Darian, not this past week, but the week before, they were guests on my podcast, and we discussed some really cool, amazing things. So top 2% podcast in the world. So please check it out, mostpeopledon't.com. Kervin, can you share some of your contact details for people to learn more about you individually?
I am available on all social platforms as Kervin Hart. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, I don't do Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, so that's the one thing you can't find me on. But I'm on every social media app that you can find, and I'm sending a message out to everyone every day with the daily message of new. Today's Fashion Friday for you guys who don't know. I want you to wear your best outfit and feel amazing. The only one doubting you and judging you is you. So the more you start thinking, hey, people are complimenting me, I bet you somebody's going to compliment you today. It's all about your thoughts and the energy you push out. It's all about how you feel. Let go of doubt. Just be yourself and just feel happy to be you. It's simple.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. And what a great way, Fashion Friday, to enter into the weekend curve. And thank you. And Darian, go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say I got my fashion on today, so I didn't even know it was Fashion Friday, but I guess I'm naturally following Kervin's train of thought. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube under GoDarian _. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Facebook. I've been connecting with a lot of people, speaking with people every day. One thing I've been doing actually a lot of, which I offer this to everybody, is I've been offering to first come, first serve, helping people, especially military, but helping people figure out how they can get to where they're trying to get to professionally. I feel like in terms of IT, I've made it basically as almost nearly as high as the ladder can get, and so I have some insights that can help expedite the journey that I've really been sharing with a lot of people who've been connecting on LinkedIn and Facebook, and so and if you just want to also just take a look at my message again, you can find me on GoDarian _ at TikTok, Instagram. And I'm also on Facebook. So
yeah, and you're not sitting in a Tesla, are you?
yeah, I am.
Yeah, all right, yeah, okay, yeah. I think you've made it Fashion Friday. I'm sitting in my son's bedroom because we're having some repair work done to our home, and there he is with a Rolex sitting in a Tesla. Gotta love it, gotta love it. But the coolest thing about both of these gentlemen, and I'd like to include myself, we don't need anything from you, right? We don't need anything. We just want to help, and that's really what has drawn me even closer to Darian and Kervin. So I would like to wish everyone a very, very happy weekend. Fashion Friday. Keep on doing what most people don't. Go from intention to action to reaction. And we will have another topic next week. And please continue to share, right? Let people know that this is a resource. We are resources, and we're here to help. Sound good, gentlemen? Thank you again to our listeners.
Thank you all to the listeners. Gratitude. Thank you so much. I hope a wonderful day.
You guys too.